Hey, all right. Good Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a really great Independence Day. Hopefully you got a lot done. We are always big here at Greer Method on the idea that there are no special days, which means that even if there's a holiday, an anniversary, a birthday, those days aren't special. They're not a green light to just indulge and throw caution to the wind and forget all your good habits you're working on building. Leave your projects untouched. It doesn't mean that you don't have fun. It doesn't mean that you don't spend time with family, maybe even enjoy some cake. But what it really does mean is that you are thoughtful about how you're going to utilize your time, and you make sure that you keep really important things moving, even if you don't give the same quantity of time. You don't lose sight of what's most important. The reason being is that we have so many special days, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, weekends, that we could just find a lot of reasons to justify throwing that caution to the wind. And so anytime there's a weekend, anytime there's a holiday, we're always telling our clients, hey, be on guard. Just keep your head on a swivel, making sure that you're keeping the right things moving forward. And certainly sometimes there's something to be said about influencing, and who's being influenced in those scenarios. Are you influencing someone else to live a healthier lifestyle, to have better habits, to be more productive, or are they influencing you to live a less great lifestyle, to eat worse, to throw that caution to the wind? And so when you think about influencing, who do you want to be? The one that's influencing others, or the one that's being influenced? I know for our kids, we try to make sure that they are being influenced for the good. So, and if in any case, that they're influencing others for the good. So, listen, today I am excited. We're going to do, if you're just catching on, you're just following us, we are doing live coaching every day. We made this decision at the beginning of July that we want to help as many people as we can. We know that there is a lot of uncertainty out there. We know that people don't feel like they have control right now. Certainly, there's lots of restrictions that are environmental, that are political, that are just kind of swirling all around. And so we know that people are feeling, in many ways, a little bit lost. And so we're trying to give some good guidance every day. You can log on through our Zoom platform. The link is in this post. You can register once, and then you can just use the same link to join us every time. Or you can just spectate. You can watch from Facebook. You can watch the replays. We are going to plug these into Instagram, IGTV, so that you've got access to these tips and these tricks. So without further ado, you probably can already see, one, we're doing live coaching, and two, we are focusing today on how to plan an effective day in 5 minutes or less. And I've got to say that organizing your day, prioritizing your time, planning what's important, those are at the core of what anybody really needs to be able to be efficient and to be effective. And so to kind of kick us off, I want to start off with an experience that I had. I've got a close friend who is a pilot. And he told me that, pilots, depending on where they're at, he's got a real small plane. He's kind of new to it. He's been new to it just only for, maybe 5-6 years now. And he said that pilots, there's two types of ways that you can fly. And the first one is by VFR, which is visual flight rules, which basically means that you're telling the tower where you're going to take off from. You're just going to kind of fly based on where the mountains are, where there's big structures. You're just going to fly based on what you see. You're just going to fly around. Now, if you are using VFR, visual flight rules, then you have to fly at a much lower altitude. You can't be up super high. There's a lot more restrictions. If there's any cloudiness or overcast, like, you can't fly. You have to meet these specific rules that are specific for you who wants to fly by visual rules. The alternative is is IFR, if I'm getting that right. It's uh, instrumental flight rules. And essentially what that is you're going to then fly by your instruments, and you're going to use those. You're going to use the radar, you're going to use, all the altimeter, all of the different instruments that come on a plane. And with the IFR, then you're able to fly higher, which means you can fly faster, and you can actually be more efficient and more effective at that higher levels. And so when we think about planning your day, we think about planning, um, you know, uh, how to be efficient, how to be effective. It's just a really good parallel that you can either fly by what you see, what you experience, the email that pops up, the knock on the door, where you are in any given day, what's coming at you. You can be that kind of responsive flyer, and some people love that. Um, and alternatively, you can be somebody who flies by instruments. You can have a plan. You can have a direction, specific things that you're trying to work toward or accomplish. And that certainly comes with trade-offs. If you're using instruments, then you have to file a flight plan. You can't just show up at the runway, say, hey, I'm going to take off, I'm going to use IFR. You have to show up, you have to have submitted a plan. Hey, here's where we're trying to go, here's the route I'm going to take. But again, the benefits are you fly faster, you get to fly higher, you get to your destination faster. There's just a lot of benefits to it. So when we talk about productivity, I have to use that example as just an important reminder for all of us to really be thoughtful about how we're using our time. And when we work with our clients, that is the very first thing we do is we help them build what is that overall vision, what is that overall destination that they want to arrive at. Because without that, then it doesn't make sense to be planning all the time, because then we just become busy. And I love this quote by Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison said, being busy does not always mean real work. The object of all work is production or accomplishment. And to either of these ends, there must be forethought, system, planning, intelligence, and honest purpose, as well as perspiration. Seeming to do is not doing. And that's by Thomas Edison, obviously somebody who is a great inventor, produced a lot in his lifetime. But I love that he had said, you have to have the forethought, you have to have the system, and you have to have the planning. And then, of course, there's intelligent purpose and perspiration. So all of those combine for us to then be effectively planning and getting the right things done. Because if you're like a lot of us right now, we're always busy. We've always got something that's competing for our time, whether it's a screaming child or, our colleagues or our spouses, or just a project. Somebody's asking for help to do this or that. So there's all of these things that are coming at us. And so we have to be really thoughtful about how we use our time. We tell our clients, it's our attention to our intention that is our opportunity. So are we being attentive to what our intention is? And your daily plan, my friends, is probably one of the very best ways you can set that intention. It says at the beginning of your day, here's what I want to accomplish, here's what I want to achieve, so that you can go through that day not just being busy, but also being effective, being efficient, being productive. So when you lay down at night, you don't think of all the things that you did, but the things that you still just never touched that were really that really matter, that were really meaningful. It allows you to really get to bed and say, hey, I was busy all day, but I just made such awesome progress towards my most important goals. I feel fulfilled. I feel accomplished. And so that is our goal always with our clients, is helping them to have that right plan. So without further ado, we are going to jump into just a very quick way. I use this myself, that you can plan your day effectively in just 5 minutes or less with a 3x5 card. Now, the way that cameras work, I don't know if this is going to show up on your side the way that it shows up for my side, but I will post a picture of the end result just to make sure. So if you want to follow along, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pull out a 3x5 card. If you've got one, you can see where the lines are. The line, the biggest space, is actually going to be the bottom for us. And all we're going to do is we're going to write on the top, we're going to write our date. Today's July 6th. If you're really serious about 5 minutes, then you could start timing. So we could write our date on there, July 6th. That looks like it matches up correctly. Okay. So then we're going to start here at the bottom. And what goes at the bottom? The bottom, that's our foundation. And the foundation looks like specific habits or core things that you're going to do every day, regardless really of what day it is, with maybe some variation. And ultimately, you're going to allow that you get those things done at a minimum. So I call that the foundation. Okay, and the foundation for me, I like to exercise. I like to reflect, which is my prayer, meditation. I like to plan my day. That's this process. I like to read, whether it be an article, a book, something that is aimed at helping me to learn. I like to write. I have a write publicly exercise that I do on my my personal Facebook page. I like to write articles and I like to write in my journal. So I write and then I serve. I try to think of something to do for somebody else that's helpful, whether that be for my wife, if the kids are going crazy, if that is for a neighbor or a friend or someone that I just come across in need. So then I just write those down. Let's see if you can see that at the very bottom with a little checkbox right next to it. Okay. So I can go throughout my day and I can just check those off as I have them completed. And what is really great is if I'm really on point, my foundation items can be done by 9 a.m. They really can. With the exception of service, sometimes the service takes a little bit longer, but all of those other components, those are things that I can manage and that I can do on my own. And they don't require somebody to be on a meeting. They don't require someone else's input. They're just me being able to get my stuff done. Okay. So then we're going to go up to the top and we're going to write up at the top. We're going to write focus right there at the top. You can see it. You love my handwriting. And the focus is for, again, building off of the vision that we create with our clients. We have them identify kind of key areas that if we were to look 5-10 years down the road, these would be areas that they just have to be on top of in order to realize the vision that they have for themselves. So they want to do today the work that's going to produce the results later. So for mine, my focus is my family is a focus I'm working on right now, the business, and our finances. Okay, so I just give them some headers here. Okay, so you see family, business, finances. Okay, so those are my focus for right now. Now, here's where it gets fun and probably super annoying to a lot of you, because now we're going to list just no more than 3 tasks for each of those categories. No more than 3, ideally just 1. We have, again, building off of our vision that we build with our clients, we have them boil everything down to one objective necessary to execute, ONE, objective necessary to execute. That is that first or next domino that we need to push over to keep things headed in the right direction. And so all of our priority areas create goals that then trickle down to the next domino that has to get pushed over. And so for my family, my domino that has to be added or pushed over today is to get new tires for my daughter. She took a hard skid this last weekend, popped her tire, which now means that she can't do her exercise time. She likes to ride her bike. She can't come run with me, which is a way that we kind of double up family time and exercise. So that is a top priority. Have to push that domino over. In my business, I've got to post my podcast. And I need to send my employer number to my accountant. So he can do my taxes. Okay. Again, all of those play into that long-term vision that I have for my business, that I have for my family. And then our finances, I've got to update my tax info. So there we go. So I've got now, based on this, I've got 4 items that are top priority. That represents those next dominoes. And then I've got my day-to-day stuff of my business and just lots of different little things that I can spend my time doing and that I will spend my time doing. But in terms of that IFR, those instruments, here's what I've really got to get done today. This is what really truly matters most. But we're not done yet. So we've got our focus. And then next, we're going to take a look at people that I need to reach out to, I need to connect with, I need to talk to. So I've got very first. So people is going to go right here in the middle. And I put my brother there. We had a family reunion over Zoom yesterday and he wasn't there. And so I want to reach out and see how he's doing, make sure everything's okay for whatever reason he wasn't there. And I don't know why. So I'm making it a priority to call him and find out. I've got a couple of prospective clients that I need to talk with, that I need to follow up with. So for the intents of this, I'll just put prospective clients. Otherwise, I would list them out. And then I've got my accountant that I need to reach out to. So these are the top people that I need to reach out to. So that's a super simple list. My accountant's name is Chad, and he works at Payne Financial. They just changed their name to Payne and Hubsch, but I always say the name wrong. Anyway, they're awesome. I can send you a link. Payne Financial is their old name. I'll get you their new name. So that's it, right? In 5 minutes, I don't know if that was legit 5 minutes, but I did a lot of describing. We start with, I'll put it right here. Here we go. We start with our foundational items, right? Here's our foundational items. These are the things that we do every single day to move our most important areas of our life forward. So this is where we make sure that our health, our spirituality, our families are taken care of. They're evident in there. Then we think about, okay, here's where our focus is, our focus areas that produce that long-term vision that we want for ourselves. Like a garden, if we want giant plants and vegetables in 6 months, then we've got to do the work now, planting them, tending to them to be able to actually get what we want. And then the people, who are the people that are going to help move those items forward that we need to connect with, we need to interact with to make sure that we're all pushing towards that vision that we have for ourselves. So that, my friends, is in 5 minutes or less, how you plan an effective day. And there you go, on a 3x5 card. That's all. Then you just keep this with you. It goes in your pocket. Pockets these days haven't changed. They can still fit. I mean, that's basically the size of your cell phone, right? You can just keep it with you. Check it off when you're done. Scratch them off when you're done. And then make a nice little stack. I've got a stack of these that go back almost, a little more than a year now. So this is a simple process. Now, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, Jared, that my to-do list is 10 times longer than that. Well, you'll be happy to know that what they found is that when a to-do list has more than 3 items, your level of effectiveness actually goes down. So if you wanted to really simplify this even further, you could just say, I'm only putting on there 3 priorities. And ultimately, when people are busy, they're overwhelmed with things that don't matter. And a lot of what doesn't matter are the things that you're going to do anyways. So to have a to-do list of a bunch of things that you're going to do anyways doesn't make a lot of sense. But when you take the time to set up your flight plan for the day, then you have a better chance of getting the right things done, arriving at your destination at the end of the day, as well as in the future, which is ultimately what we want anyways. Nobody wants to arrive 20 years down the road and realize, wow, we just made so many massive critical trade-offs throughout this entire time, and now it's just impossible to get back. So that's a super simple, effective way to plan your day, be efficient, be effective. Remember, those people can fly higher, faster. Yeah, they've got to submit their flight plan, but they get there faster. Okay, y'all, that is it. Join us next time. Tag a friend who needs help organizing, who could be more efficient, more effective with their time, who's always busy, running around in a frenzy. This is a simple way for them to help organize some of that. All right, y'all, have an amazing week. Keep that momentum. Hopefully you're not trying to regain that momentum after the holiday break. But if you are, just stay at it, be persistent, and you'll get there. We'll see you guys tomorrow.